women will never in life be attracted to them. They encourage rape. They were able to take together 17 innocent lives. Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Chen, back at it again with a new video. It's been a minute again. How you doing? In today's video, I'll be doing things a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about a subculture that I recently discovered. So it's really a group of people who built their entire personality traits around the fact that they are virgins, cannot get girlfriends, and to them that is oppression. Incels. But let's take on upon a little journey today. My channel is still in the experimental phase. Makeup is here to stay, of course, but there are a lot of things that I want to explore. Subcultures is something that, I don't know, it just take a look fancy. You know, in Jamaica, we don't really get to see a lot of diversity as it relates to culture. That nice little thing called the internet, it's taken me on journeys to finding out so many things about people, and I cannot keep this information inside of me. I need to share it with you guys. Today I'm not trying to offend any particular group. I'm not trying to sympathize with any group, because it's really hard to sympathize with people who do masturbate because they can't get no cat. But at the same time, I'm not really here to embarrass or to shame anybody. That's not my thing. I'm going to do a look that is inspired by the group that I'm talking about, and based on my research, the incels seem to like e-girls, so I'm going to attempt to do an e-girl look for the first time. I'm going to give you a little introduction to the incel community. So earlier in the video, I gave my opinion on what I thought an incel was, but if you were to look it up in the dictionary, the word incel is actually a portmanteau. See, I learned that word when I was doing my research, of the words involuntary and celibate. So they're not doing the dirty dance, but it's definitely not by choice. Now, the definition that I gave doesn't sound like something that's exclusive to any particular gender, right? Well, we're wrong, because the men in the incel group have collectively decided that there is no way that a woman can be involuntarily celibate, because all man want is woman. You're not attractive, you're not smart, but man we want it anyway. Even though they have this view today, and the group today is filled with mostly white straight men, not to say that other races are not in the group, but majority of the members in the group today are white straight men. The group actually began with a queer woman. The woman who started this, Alana, she no longer wants to be associated with the group or with the term. It was actually a project of hers that she started in 1993. It was a website that she called Alana's Celibacy Project. Based on an interview she did back in 2018. It was back in the early 90s, and the internet was not as open as it is right now. Not everybody had access to the internet, and she was one of the few who did, because she was somebody that was deemed, you know, a nerd. She was smart, and those were the persons back then who had internet access for school purposes. And the people in the group were a lot like her. They were mostly academics, and because they were deemed as nerds, they all shared the problem of loneliness. So they took to that group, or she created that group as a passion project for it to be somewhere that they could come together and speak on their particular problem. She says the people in the group back in the early 90s, when she started this whole thing, they were so polite and respectful, and it became a place where people even found their life partners. They went on and got married from meeting on her site. It's giving the girls ash. It's definitely giving the girls ash, and she don't name Ashley. Moment of silence for all the e-girls that I've offended with this look. I am so sorry. I tried my best. Round of applause to you guys, because this is not my thing. So Alana stepped away from the group back in the early 2000s because, quite frankly, her life just had taken a new turn, and the lady was moving on to better things, and she didn't relate to the group anymore, so she moved on, and she no longer associated herself with the group. She even transferred leadership to the group and was no longer a part of it. And she says that she did not know of what the new norm was in the incel community until the tragic events that took place in 2014 that involved Elliot Rodger. So in the early 2000s, the group ditched that old format that they had before with Alana's website and went on to spread across less moderated forums like 4chan and Reddit. Now that's when the views of the incel community started to really drastically shift. The group now had a different audience, and they were taking on more extremist and misogynistic views on relationships. And it was now more about getting a woman to, At this time now, Reddit became their main place of gathering, and the narrative shift to women being blamed for the sexual inactivity of the members of the Incel forum. The comments became much darker, and they now included talk of and other violence against women. It was so bad that in 2017, Reddit rolled out some new rules that caused the Incel subreddit to be banned. But you know, them always come back like the plague. The idea of being an incel is so hard for me to understand, which by the account of the incels, it sounds about right, because I am a woman, so by their logic I have no idea what it means, nor can I understand what it means to be undesirable. So they believe introduction of female liberation caused women to now have the upper hand, and were now able to pick and choose from the wide variety of chads that existed in this world. So if you're wondering what a chad is, that's the word that they use to describe the ideal male specimen. A chad is everything a girl wants and everything an incel so badly desires to be. And of course the chad had to have his female counterpart or equivalent, which is a Stacy, and that's the woman that every woman wants to be. She is the ideal woman, the one who usually matches up to the unrealistic beauty standards of this world. I guess Chad is also the white ideal male specimen, because for other ethnicities they have terms like Tyrone, Chadam, and Chadpreet, and also Chan. And that is just the beginning of the dating tier list. Next up on that list we have the Normie and the Becky, and these are the persons who are considered average. And then beneath that we have the beta male, who is the, I guess, weak male, and I guess this is where incels normally place themselves. I didn't really see a female companion for the beta male, but let's just say they had a few choice words that they used to describe women, such as femoid or foid. I guess that is the lowest. That's like calling you a in the incel community. They also had words that were more racially charged. Now within the incel group, the incels have a group that they place themselves into. The first one is called the blue pill incel, and this was a phrase that was taken from the movie Matrix. And this generally means that they choose to ignore reality. The reality being that they cannot ever find any meaningful relationships because they are so gosh darn ugly, and no woman never want them because women only want Chads and Tyrones. What they also mean by ignoring reality is that the blue pill incel believe that relationships are formed based on compatibility and kindness and respect towards women, and that is just such a far-fetched idea. Like, there's no way that make any sense. Because why one woman are gonna want you just because you're kind and respectful and treat them like an actual person? No, you have to look good, and if you don't look good, clearly you're not gonna get no woman. It's logics. Which leads us into the blue pill incel. This is the idea that also came from the movie Matrix. And this pill, the red pill, causes you to embrace your reality and finally realize that women are only attracted to physically superior men, and that means the only way that they can ever succeed in gaining a meaningful relationship is to compensate for their bad looks with going to the gym. So them ugly in a one way to them, because most of them that I see are not ugly. So them ugly in a one way, and in a them body at least them nice, because that's the only thing that women look at when they're choosing a partner. And while I call bullshit on the idea of this theory, I kind of understand where them are come from, because really and truly it is proven that people are more likely to be with you or choose you as a romantic partner if they are physically attracted to you. If you are physically attractive, you attract more people. But that's not the only reason why somebody would choose you as their partner. And thinking that that's the only factor in it is so toxic. And the last category is referred to as taking the black pill. This is the belief that genetics have already predetermined their desirability, and because they in their minds are not genetically superior, women will never in life be attracted to them. Even though all of them engage in hate speech, I find that the black pill incels are the ones that mostly voice their opinion and speak hatefully towards women. In their minds, women are manipulative, selfish, disloyal, and money hungry. And apparently, those traits can only be for women. There is never a man in history that has ever been these things. And this defeated attitude is one that I observed while doing my research to be so prevalent in the incel community, and is one of the reasons why I think incel forums are such a very toxic place. It's the worst place to ever find yourself if you're feeling some type of way about the fact that you are not currently being desired. And I hope, I really pray that if anybody is feeling that way, that they don't resort to communicating in these forums. It's never something that's uplifting. It really isn't support. It's just somewhere that they all go to wallow in the filth of their negative behavior. They encourage you to take your own life. They encourage you to take the life of others. They encourage. I was able to find some conversations between incels, and it's some of the most disgusting conversations that I have ever laid my eyes on. I could not believe that there were people that actually thought this way. One of the weirdest things also is that even though they find themselves so unattractive, they never miss a beat. They never miss a minute for talk about how unattractive women are. Most of the conversations on the forum are either filled with self-hate or misogyny. They also talk a lot about pulling the plug, which is something that I am very sensitive about. I don't ever entertain conversations about that, and to see somewhere that they speak so freely about it kind of made me want to stop doing the research. And after seeing the screenshots on Google, I decided that I was no longer, because I had planned to go undercover in the Incel forum, but after seeing that, I decided that that's not somewhere that I want to be. Some of them take it a step further and decide to take innocent lives and blame their sexual frustration as the motive for doing these things. These people that I'm going to put on the screen here were the most well-known of the numerous incel-related attacks. And I really don't want to mention their names. I don't want to give them any more publicity. They really don't deserve any airtime at all for the terrible things that they have done. But just between these two men, they were able to take together 17 innocent lives. And these are people in the incel forums that are praised and honored and described as elite gentlemen. I didn't want this video to be a completely negative experience, so I was able to find a video of a guy who was in the incel community. So he stated that he found the incel group when he was in such a bad place in his life, and this is one of the worst places to find. Is like when you're low already, it's like the devil just send some bagga things to bring you even lower. But he said that instead of indulging in the activities of the group, he decided to take a chance and, put himself out there, because really and truly a lot of these incels say they try, but the way they do it is so strange. There's no way that somebody would actually want to be with you if you approach him in that manner. He's now in a serious relationship just because he was willing to put himself out there and try something new. And his account kind of gave me hope because it made me realize that it's not somewhere that they have to stay forever. It's just that, just like with everything else in life, you have to make a conscious decision to make a change. Another thing I noticed with the incel community, sometimes it can be so easy to feel sympathy for them because of the way they relate their story to you. And I really don't want to be sorry for them. Most of them have this nice guy persona that they tap into occasionally. They believe that once you do something nice for somebody, that means that they should in turn repay you with sexual favors. I can't get done with that logic. Once you don't, they go off and then act as if women are the worst things in the world, and then they go right back around them computer and start type again about oh woman wicked. Do I look like a e-girl? I don't know if I did them any justice, but this is the best I could do. I'm so sorry if I didn't do it well. I tried. Okay, so final thoughts on the incel group. The forums, I think, are the worst thing that could ever happen to anybody that is actually going through this situation, right? They don't take accountability for any of the problems that they're having in their lives. I don't think that's a healthy environment for anybody at all to be in. They encourage depression, suicide, laziness, self-pity, complacency, hatred towards women, and a lot of other things that I really don't want to mention. You cannot force anybody to be interested in you, no matter how many nice things you do for somebody. And if you really are a nice person, you won't need to feel validated for the things that you do. If you're doing it for validation, that means you're not doing it from your heart. And if you're not doing it from your heart, better you don't do it none at all. You can't blame nobody else for the way your life turned out. Everything we have in our life is a consequence of either your action or your reaction to something that happened to you. Once there's life, there's hope, but you have to make an active effort to change what you don't like about your life. Another thing, there's absolutely somebody out there for everybody that exists. And it might not be a romantic partner, it might be a friendship soulmate. It doesn't have to be somebody that is giving you their coochie. You know what I'm saying? There is somebody out there for you, and the moment you stop approach it as a task that you have to complete, things will become so much easier for you. I really don't want it to seem like I have the solution to the incel problem. I think it's something that has to do with the mind, and I don't want to be the one to say how to solve that because I'm in no way qualified. A lot of the things that we are experiencing can be solved if we are just nice to somebody. And I don't mean nice to the point where you're oblivious to the things that they're doing. Being nice doesn't always mean that you let people get away with things that you don't like. But we can choose kinder words. We can voice our opinions in a better way. The truth of it is that hurt people. And they're really hurt. And who wouldn't be hurt if they don't feel desired? We have to be kinder to each other. That's all I have to say. I don't want to say anything else on that. Let's leave that at that. If you are still here, thank you so much for sticking through this video. It might be a long one, I'm not sure. And if you actually enjoyed the content, please leave a comment down below and let me know that you did. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to meet you over in the playlist, Wake Up, Makeup and Chat. See you there. Bye.